Under 5 minutes to play. Smith, bodies flying. Oh, like a bull in the China shop.
Excuse me, pardon me, excuse me. There's no way Luke Fisher's getting that call. There was no initial overly thrust power to make him fall down. It was just nice baby step back down. There's nothing you can do right there. You're gonna have to foul it.
Luke Fisher's a big boy, but Joshua Smith's got him by over 100 pounds. Carlino hits the deck, no call. Georgetown a chance to take the lead. Smith Rivera, Bowen, and the foul! What a turn of events!
Georgetown showing a little bit of their defense turning into offense. Now Bowen looks like he's a little shooken up after that fall. Maybe came down wrong. Came down wrong awkwardly on his leg.
You know, already in today's game, we've seen LJ Peak leave with an undisclosed injury. Jabril Trawick has not played much. He's been banged up. We saw Paul White dealing with some lacerations to his face. And now Bowen, his back leg just came out from underneath him.
Well, hopefully it's okay, because those are one of the things that happen in the game that could be a freak incident or accident leading to an injury. And hopefully he's fine. He's bouncing a little better now. Get him off the court so he can walk it off. Let the trainer look at it, make sure he's good. Sometimes when your adrenaline is pumping, you don't even know how serious an injury can be. Hopefully it's not a serious injury, and he's able to come back in the game.
Marquette playing with their starting 5 on the floor right now. Anderson misses the top of the key jumper. Georgetown trying to get to 6-2 through 8 conference games. Copeland. And a foul going for the loose basketball called on Marquette. It's called on Derek Wilson. Georgetown on the road trying to steal one from Marquette. Georgetown on the road on top of Marquette, 74-71, 3:37 remaining. Devontae Smith Rivera has been as advertised.
Well, you're talking about the 7th leading scorer in the conference, in the Big East Conference. He's not known for a score for no reason. He can pull up from anywhere on the court. Transition, spot up, and from deep, pick him up when he gets off the bus. And Carlino averaging 17 points a game. You're talking about the 4th leading scorer in the Big East Conference. And he's just doing what he does, coming off screens, locked, loaded, and ready, confidence high, being assertive, and bringing the scoring for this Marquette team.
Dickie, how is it possible that Marquette at home is shooting 54%? They have made 10 of 19 three-pointers, yet they're losing this game.
Well, they're losing the game because of bench production. Bench production that Georgetown has provided in this game is kind of offsetting it. They're not getting as many second chance points, so that's what's making them down 3 right now.
Isaac Copeland misses the front end of a 1-and-1. Wayne Wilson, bounce pass into the corner, gets it back to tie.
I really think this kid is special. He's really special. He's a hidden gem in the Big East Conference. He should be getting a lot of hype out there with the freshmen they talk about in NCAA basketball. He is one of the productive freshmen out there, and he's a spectacular talent.
Smith the catch. Bounce pass ripped away by Wilson. Numbers for Marquette. Oh, ball ripped away. Luke Fisher! Johnny on the spot.
When you're playing hard and you're playing with high energy, Good things happen. The ball still ended up in Marquette's hands, fell into Luke Fisher's hands, and he went in to finish with a two-hand dunk. All generated by Dwayne Wilson's defense.
Georgetown playing without two starters. No L.J. Peak, and for the most part, Georgetown here in the second half. Down a pair. 2.5 remaining.
For Georgetown freshmen to be in this game right now with the intensity, this is advanced learning for them.
Joshua Smith is fouled. I just don't see any way that Marquette can stop that big man.
If Joshua Smith catches the ball in paint, you have to double team or foul. And as you see Dwayne Wilson lining it up, knocking it down, good things come to those who wait. Fisher waiting, picking the ball up, and getting a dunk.
Smith hits the first. That last foul called on Luke Fisher is his fourth. Remember, Marquette has 8 scholarship players.
If he fouls out of the game, now you have to really adjust. You have to scramble around. You have to bring in a Steve Taylor Jr. to guard Joshua Smith.
Marquette still has the lead. Marquette, 3 timeouts, Georgetown 2.
You have to love this atmosphere, this environment right here, the energy in this arena.
Oh, unforced error on the freshman. Dwayne Wilson stepped on the sideline.
And you know that happens a lot in basketball. Guys misjudge the distance of the sideline. They always step on the sideline when they're playing in the corner for shots or running off screens. And it's such a turnover that you hate happening, but you can't be mad at your player playing with high energy and intensity.
Georgetown down a point. John Thompson III calls timeout, wants to draw up something special on that dry erase board.
And Eric, I talked about Georgetown freshmen being in the game right now. In the critical of the game, under duress, high energy, high crowd, this moment right here helps build their confidence. It's advanced learning for future games. So now, Coach John Thompson III can really trust in these guys and has the confidence to put them in these situations.
And if you like this, we got more heading your way. On Tuesday, a Big East doubleheader, including these Georgetown Hoyas. They'll take on Xavier. That game starts at 7 Eastern time. It'll be followed by DePaul and Providence. That's a 9 Eastern time start on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. All 4 of those teams in the upper echelon of the Big East so far through the first half of the conference slate.
Well, if Marquette pulls this game out, they would have beaten the top 2 teams in conference play right now at home. Beat Providence when Providence came here, and they pull this out, they beat Georgetown. And the teams you can't sleep on in the Big East Conference this year, you can't sleep on Marquette, you can't sleep on DePaul. They'll come in and they can pull out wins.
Paul White, 10 on the shot clock.
Gotta know the time on the shot clock.
Copeland, shot clock down at 2. White gets it off. Rebounded Smith, and he's fouled. 2 free throws for Joshua Smith after great team defense played by Marquette.
Well, I like the fact Joshua Smith is in there battling, using that physical, strong body. He knocked Derek Wilson out the way inadvertently, and went over there and patted him on the head. Joshua Smith is like, just got the shot off. Joshua Smith is like a big giant in there with the Jolly Green Giant.
We are tied at 76.
Shooting 68% from the free throw line, almost 69%. That's respectable for a big fella his size.
Clutch free throws.
Very clutch. To make those right now, that's a respectable percentage.
Georgetown up a point. And before the shot, a foul called. If that's on Paul White, that's his 5th.
And here's where on the Marquette side, Coach Wojciechowski gets an opportunity to keep learning about his team, finding out who can create offense, who can create their own shot. As you can see, Dwayne Wilson can create his own shot off the bounce.
Paul White has just fouled out. So we will have a timeout just for a moment as you're allowed
You're allowed 30 seconds. You can utilize 30 seconds here to kind of talk to your team, regroup, take advantage of this time. Coach already knows who he's going to put in the game, but he's using this time to utilize to kind of talk about the next defensive possession now that we're getting close to the minute left and what you're going to do on offense when you get the ball.
Well, for the Marquette Golden Eagles, they've been biting their nails for the last couple of weeks. These are their last 3 games. A 1-point win over Creighton. They lost by 4 7 days ago down in Cincinnati against Xavier, and on Wednesday, a 3-point loss against St. John's. They're used to close games.
Well, you can tell Coach Wojo's energy transfers over to his players. You can tell his players love to play for him. And even though he got hit with only 8 players, they are very competitive. They scrap, they battle. They're going to be in games on a regular basis.
A 1-and-1 for Wilson.
Tough miss right there.
1 minute to play. Georgetown up by a point.
Critical defensive stop right here.
Loose on the floor. Picked up by Copeland. Numbers for the Hoyas. Copeland, what a shot! Cold-blooded.
So smooth, so deadly.
Every other freshman in the country would have just dribbled that ball a couple of times and waited for the clock to wind down, but not Copeland. He went to the rack.
And you, again, I know they talk about all the freshmen in the country, Okafor at Duke, Stanley Johnson at Arizona, but Georgetown has talented freshmen with composure, poise, and smoothness to get a bucket in the critical.
Well, this is what it looks like. Georgetown a timeout remaining. Marquette has 2. On the next foul committed by either side, both teams will be in the double bonus. So it'll be 2 free throws the rest of the way. Should we have a held ball, possession arrow favors Marquette.
Well, Eric, right now you have Marquette down by 3 points. 43 seconds left in the game. What you want to do right here, if you're Marquette, you want to hurry up and score quick. It's about scoring quick, prolonging the game, getting extra possessions. Do not try to go for a 3 unless it's a penetration. You draw the defense and you kick out for an open shot. Your mindset should be score quick right away, get 2 points.
Dwayne Wilson will trigger the inbound.
Trying to get Carlino the ball. Smith Rivera doing an excellent job defending.
Things weren't working so well for Marquette. Steve Wojciechowski calls the timeout.
And you know, one of the things, Smith Rivera is an underrated defender. He's so much known for his scoring. That possession, knowing that the game is on the line, he did an excellent job defending Carlino, who they were trying to get the ball to.
With that timeout called by Marquette, both sides with 1 timeout remaining.
Well, you're still at a situation now with 33 seconds left. You didn't get what you wanted that timeout. You still have to go score quick. If they could have scored quick the last possession, they still would have had time to play 1 solid defensive possession, only down 1. Now you have to score quick, still score quick, and you have to think about now the shot clock's going to be at 35 seconds. Well, the shot clock will be off. You're going to have to foul now right away to prolong the game. I call it jump the game up. Extend the game. Frustrate the team. Keep sending them to the free throw line to try to make free throws, and hopefully they miss.
This time, Anderson with the inbounds to Derek Wilson.
If you happen to get a tying 3-point shot.
Tough shot made! Dwayne Wilson! It's called a 3. but the officials are going to look at the monitor to make sure it was a three. Oh my, after the turnover by Wilson, the missed front end of a one-and-one. This time, he hits the biggest shot of the game.
I've been talking about Dwayne Wilson all game. He has ice in his veins. This is a special player, a guy who steps up to take a big-time three and knock it down. Now this changes the complexion of the game. You play solid defense. The game is tied. You have to be a confident player, a talented player, and a player that knows I'm going to carry the team on my back. All I can remember, Eric, was Derek Wilson pointed at his wrist in the first half and said, I'm sorry, Dwayne Wilson, it's Dwayne Wilson time.
Now Georgetown can hold for the final shot.
And this is where you test your team. How bad do you want it? Everybody has to be locked in defensively, moving, talking, scrambling. This defensive possession is obviously very, very important.
Georgetown has a timeout if they want to use it. Joshua Smith is fouled. Smith will shoot 2 free throws. Luke Fisher has just fouled out.
Well, you're in a situation right here that's clearly a foul, where now you're in the last possession of the game, and you're going isolation one-on-one. You're relying on Luke Fisher to just guard Joshua Smith by himself. That's one of those things where you may have to front him. You may have to front him, make him throw a lob pass, and everybody scrambles to go get it. But if you allow Joshua Smith to catch the ball on the block in the paint, it's a done deal.
I don't think any of those officials wanted to call a foul on an entry pass into the post, but you just had to. Luke Fisher was all over.
You had to make that call. Now, was Joshua Smith falling off balance at the same time? Yeah, he may have been, but the fact is, Luke Fisher had his arm tied in there, holding on Joshua Smith. You have to make that call.
2 free throws for Smith.
The last time he went to the line, he knocked down 2 big free throws. Let's see if he can do it again.
That's what seniors do.
And also, if you're a young kid at home watching basketball right now, if you just saw Joshua Smith shoot his free throw, that free throw hit the front of the rim and it went in. The reason why it went in is he kept his follow-through up, exaggerated his follow-through. Eric, so often I tell kids at basketball, exaggerate your follow-through. You'll make more shots than you miss. I'm just giving you a little coaching point, that's all, you know. So when you go to the health club, and play, you know, even though you're missing, you follow through.
Now that timeout was called by Marquette, which is interesting because they no longer have any more timeouts. Well, so after this free throw by Joshua Smith, make or miss, they're going to have to find a way to get all the way down to the end of the floor and do something on offense at 5.9.
Well, Coach Wojo was stuck in a situation here. You want to think about icing the free throw shooter. And you understand you only have 1 timeout. Do I save the timeout and watch him make both and then call it? Or do I use it in between his free throws to kind of ice him to miss it? And knowing that I don't have any more timeouts, I have to take advantage and get my team locked in on the execution offensively with 5.9 seconds left. I think it's a good call. I think you use your timeout in between free throws to ice the big man at the free throw line, and you have to maximize your timeout so everybody knows what's going on made or miss with this next free throw. See Steve Taylor Jr. in the game. He's going to apply some boxing out. They must get this rebound if he missed. And on the make, they have to go and score quick.
Georgetown up 2.
Big time free throws by the big fella. Excellent substitution to get him out of the game defensively.
Mikhail Hopkins replaces him. Marquette down 2. This is Carlino. Carlino! Got it! a two. They call it a two on the floor, and we're tied.
OMG.
Pointer, so you're going to need to see indisputable evidence that he was behind the line to overturn that.
It's real close. It's real close. From this angle, it's hard to see if his toes were on the line. But just look at the degree of difficulty. The fact that he's taking tough shots and making tough shots. I call those shot takers and shot makers.
Look at Smith Rivera, had an arm all on his wrist.
And that made him have to double pump his shot.
Now again, the call on the floor was a two. If that was indeed a two, it should be 81-81.
Correct.
Is this a two or is this a three? If they signal three, then Marquette's got the lead with .9 remaining.
Well, this is now, you're putting the referees now. The referees have stressed they're coming over to kind of tell us what's going on, but they have to analyze this thoroughly. The referees want to see our monitors for the angle. We have kind of a tough angle too for them to see. But they're coming over here to see the angle and if his feet were on the line.
I think that's going to be the best we're going to get right there.
You know, I'm happy to be a part of the game, to get to share my monitor for the referees to be able to view the game. Very important piece right here, very critical.
And this is what all the fuss is about.
You can hear the Marquette fans behind us. They're trying to influence the referee to lean towards that three.
I have a hard time believing they're going to call that a three-pointer.
Well, it's hard to see from the angle that we have, Eric. The angle that we're showing the referee is hard to see if his toes are on the line. We have the other referees coming over here to see the monitor.
You know, they're all getting together. This is obviously a critical point. The call on the floor was a two. So is there indisputable video evidence to rule that it was behind the line and a three?
And when you look at this situation right now, if it's a two, you're talking now that this is going to lean towards extra time. If it's a three, obviously that's the perfect scenario for two.
All right, it's official. It is a two. So we are tied at 81. Instead of the go-ahead three-pointer, it is a tying two-pointer, and we're tied at 81. The critical point, Dickie Simpkins, the call on the floor immediately by Lamont Simpson, who is the official closest to the play. The call on the floor immediately when he went up the shot was two.
Well, you know, this is
see Lamont Simpson, bottom of your screen. He's going to put out two fingers. Two of his left fingers go out.
And you're absolutely right. And this is the part of the game. In any sport, you have to live with the eye of the referee. Now, we're in a situation with the digital age and technology, and they still can't have a clear understanding if he was on the line or not. You have to live with the eyes of the referee making that call.
So, now Georgetown, one last opportunity. They've got to go the length of the floor in .9.
Which is enough time to catch and get a release.
Stolen, Carlino!
This is Big East basketball at its finest. I told you Big East was back. This is a hard-fought battle. We get extra time for this game, a special gift.
So an extra 5 minutes will be played. It is an 81-81 tie here in Milwaukee. While everyone gets a chance to think about it, let's send it back to the studio in Los Angeles. Thank you so much. Well, we can only hope that the overtime is as scintillating as the first 40 minutes of regulation. Alongside Dickie Simpkins, I'm Eric Collins. A pivotal game for the Georgetown Hoyas, trying to get to 6-2 in conference play. New York Life, the official sponsor of overtime. Georgetown trying to win their fourth in a row because of the loss earlier this afternoon right here on Fox Sports 1 by DePaul against Xavier. Because of that loss and because Providence is idle, this afternoon. Georgetown, with this win, they would have sole possession of first place in the Big East. But Matt Carlino says, I want to play a little bit more. Just tied it up at 81 with a jumper at the end of regulation.
Well, Eric, when you look at this game now, we're talking about a whole different game right now for this 5 minutes of overtime. Paul White on Georgetown has fouled out. Luke Fisher for Marquette, a big pivotal player, important for this team, has fouled out. Now we're talking about a different game. Steve Taylor Jr. is going to play these 5 minutes. Different style of play here.
Carlino gets a screen from Taylor, long three. Rebounded in traffic by Copeland.
And that's
now it's not just Paul White falling out for Georgetown. Georgetown has not played the second half with anything from L.J. Peak in only about a minute worth of Jabril Trawley. So they're down 3 bodies in today's game.
And then you talk about Marquette only having 8 players. Now they have 7 players to play with for this overtime game.
They do have 2 walk-ons, 2 twin walk-ons. And a foul called on Taylor. This will send Hopkins to the free throw line.
And look at the post entry pass. Right there, good vision. Seeing it, Copeland, that's a freshman. And when you have a freshman who can see the court, make good passes, that just is a luxury to have on your team. Most freshmen can't even operate with the ball like that. They're quick to get it out. The only thing I taught the coach, John Thompson III, before the game, he said all freshmen think about is scoring, and he's happy about how these guys have locked in defensively.
Hopkins splits the 2 free throws. Georgetown up a point. Dwayne Wilson, a big part of the comeback for Marquette. Misses the floater. Tapped around, picked up by Taylor. Fresh shot clock for the Golden Eagles. Carlino. Smith the rebound.
And that's okay. I can live with that possession because Marquette's 2 top scorers were the guys that took the shots.
Loose on the floor. Smith Rivera tied up with Carlino. Possession arrow keeps it with Georgetown.
Now Taylor Jr. seems like he's hurt. He hit his shoulder on the floor. That's one of those stingers you get. Probably lost the feeling in his arm. Takes a little bit of time for it to come back. But Eric, that last possession, getting 2 opportunities at the basket like Marquette did from their 2 top scorers, the 2 guys that have hit big shots in this game, I can live with that.
So this is an exceedingly small lineup for Marquette. Sandy Cohen replaces Taylor.
Small ball, small ball. I used to call it a league called small fry. This is the college version right here.
3.5 remaining in overtime. Oh, Smith got hit in the face by that pass. Wasn't expecting it. Dwayne Wilson got it! 3-pointer number 6 for the freshman.
When you talk about the freshmen in the country and you name the high-profile guys, you have to talk about Dwayne Wilson.
Smith Rivera, a gorgeous veteran play, draws the foul on Wilson. He'll have 3 free throws. Free throw line, 86%.
And here's a kid that just has a knack for scoring. But misses that free throw.
Now the best he can do is tie this game at 84 if he hits the remaining 2.
And you know, you get that sometimes. You have a guy that shoots 86% from the free throw line, but these are his first free throw attempts for the game. So now that 86% kind of changes a little bit. It's not, you know, for you analytical guys out there, 86% shooting is different from 86% shooting, not shooting a free throw all game, and shooting in the critical of overtime. It's a little different. I know what the numbers say, but this is a different situation.
Couple of Wilsons, Anderson, Carlino, and Cohen, 5 on the floor for Marquette.
If you're Marquette, you want to just keep fluent movement a lot of ball screens so you can eventually get an isolation or attack.
Cohen, rebounded Smith. We're tied at 84.
I like the move by Cohen, but he made a strong move, but I don't think his shot was with confidence.
Hopkins fouled by Cohen, and a little shove by Hopkins after the play.
That's okay. That's okay. I can live with that. This is the Big East. This is physical basketball. The Big East, bringing it back retro style. Physical Big East basketball.
2 free throws for Hopkins. 9 of 10 at the line. Somehow only shoots 54% on the season. He has had 10 beauties tonight.
Sometimes, like I said, the numbers sometimes are skewed. I'm sure his 54% is more of an inconsistent situation. He may go a game and shoot like he's shooting today, and the next game may go 0 for 6.
Marquette down a pair. Carlino. Wilson draws the foul. Chance to tie it at the line.
Now, right here, Eric, right here, for the people that are watching the game and the young kids of today, Coach Wojo is leaving the confidence of the game and the flow and the energy into his guys that can score, and he's letting them play. Isolations, letting them attack the basket. I still think that they should stay with a little bit more fluent ball screens and get some flow to attack.
Well, tonight, prelims on Fox Sports 2 right now, but later tonight, the big deal. 8 p.m. Eastern time, fight night. Gustafson versus Johnson. Headlines a full card of epic bouts. UFC fight night only on Fox tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern time. As I said, the prelims on Fox Sports 2 right now. 2 minutes remaining in this one. Georgetown up a point.
You know what's interesting about this? This game will go in another overtime. There's a Milwaukee Bucks game right after this. The Bucks can come in here and have to watch this game. We can get multiple overtimes today.
10 on the shot clock. Copeland frees himself. Wilson the rebound. Marquette can take the lead. Carlino! Back tap out to Copeland.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts right there when you get so close, but you don't get the roll of the basket to fall in.
Georgetown calls timeout. They're up a point.
Eric, Marquette has had excellent shot opportunities in this overtime. Besides the 3 when the overtime started by Carlino, that was a heat check. All their other shots have been in the paint, except for the one that Dwayne Wilson knocked down from the wing 3. Everything else has been in the paint. They've had great looks, floaters, attack at the basket. That's what you want in overtime.
Marquette is perfect at home in Big East play. They've won a pair, haven't lost. On the road, it's a different story. They're 0-4 away from the BMO Harris Bradley Center. Georgetown, we've mentioned it a number of times. This game is so important because a win gets them to 6-2 and in sole possession of first place in the Big East.
Well, right now, in this timeout, you better believe JT3 is designing a play to get the ball to Joshua Smith in the paint. Luke Fisher's not in the game. Steve Taylor Jr. is not in the game. They're playing small ball. Georgetown is going to the paint to try to get a score or a foul. So what Marquette has to do is they have to be locked in. They're going to have to double team, swarm Joshua Smith, make him turn over and miss, and then gang rebound.
Yeah, down the stretch of regulation, it was exciting. Back and forth, the freshman Isaac Copeland with a big-time jump shot. Not to be outdone. Marquette racing the other way. Dwayne Wilson, he was Mr. Second Half for the Golden Eagles. The big man, 350-pounder Joshua Smith, imposing his will, and then almost at the buzzer, a long 2. They said Matt Carlino had a foot on the strike instead of the game winner. It ended up being the game higher, and that's how we get to overtime.
Well, at the beginning of the game, I talked about our game changers, and those game changers were Luke Fisher and Joshua Smith. They had the strongest ability to change the complexity of this game, change the outcome of this game. Even with Carlino, Smith-Rivera, Dwayne Wilson making shots, at the end of the day, Joshua Smith and Luke Fisher can change this game. And now you see Luke Fisher's out the game. Joshua Smith is still in the game, getting to the free throw line, making free throws.
Now Steve Taylor has checked back in for Marquette. He'll be the one trying to put a body on Joshua Smith.
I think that was an excellent move by Coach Bojo. He knows where Georgetown is going to try to go right now. Against this zone defense, you want to attack free throw line area with a guy who can operate, and you want to isolate Joshua Smith in the post.
10 on the shot clock for Georgetown. Smith-Rivera finds Campbell, and he's got it. The freshman, maybe the biggest shot of his season.
And how good is it to have the luxury of freshmen with confidence enough to take and make big shots in the critical.
Carlino hounded by Smith-Rivera. Clear space, hangs, rebounded Taylor, ripped away Smith-Rivera, who is fouled in the backcourt by Carlino. What an epic battle this has been through 44 minutes.
Here you have the penetration by Smith-Rivera, finding an open Trey Campbell, a freshman from Washington, D.C., St. John's Prep, hitting it from the corner. Three-ball corner pocket.
That is the third free throw made in overtime by Devontae Smith-Rivera. 90 points for Georgetown.
High-scoring game for two teams that score in the 60s.
Sandy Cohen coming in for his offense, replacing Derek Wilson.
There's still a lot of time. You have to go quick to score. Again, jump the game up, stretch it out. Go quick, don't search the threes.
Dwayne Wilson, that's his first miss from behind the arc today. Had made his first 6 in a row. Will come the other way and have free throws for Isaac Copeland.
I like it in Dwayne Wilson. I like it in Carlino to want to take big shots. Obviously, they've proven in this game to make them and come up in big time. But in this particular situation right here, the only three you should be taking or looking for is a three after penetration or a three on an offensive rebound kick-out. That shouldn't be your initial shot when you come down court. But again, I understand because Dwayne Wilson made some big threes early.
Georgetown has been sensational at the free throw line as a team. Marquette down 8. And it's Georgetown ball, maybe all she wrote. What a performance by Georgetown on the road.
I mean, Eric, this was a tough fought battle game, a very competitive game. Players showing their personality. We have personality with the coaches in the Big East, but Dwayne Wilson showing personality as a player, Carlino, and this will be a tough loss. They battle so hard, Marquette, but it shows the mental toughness, the defensive toughness, and the toughness of freshmen to step up on the road in a hostile environment.
And the freshman hitting free throws. Campbell hits the first, hits the second.
You're talking about a 68% shooting big, knocking down free throws in the stretch, a 54% shooting big, knocking down free throws. Veterans coming up making big baskets.
And Georgetown wins on the road in overtime. 95-85 the final score. Georgetown now in sole possession of first place in the Big East Conference. Wow, what a ball game. It takes 45 minutes, but Georgetown wins one on the road. Sure hope you enjoyed it. For my partner Dickie Simpkins, I am Eric Collins. Now let's send you to Don Bell in our Fox Sports 1 LA studio.